So yeah, episode 12 was kind of intense. uh yeah, let's just I guess let's just start with it. And this is talking about episode 12 of Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. And here this episode was very there's a lot of things explained and a lot of, at least to me, a lot of things that have me question exactly what is Kaede's all of the things that she has been affected with the adolescent syndrome. Just there's just a lot of things, and just explanation of her memory loss has added to what's going or added to my confusion of what's going on here. So in the episode, let's begin with the beginning. Sakuta explains to my and her sister that one day Kaede woke up and didn't have any memory of her or anyone of her brother, the parents, nothing. Just all that was gone. And so she wakes up and she's just like, who are you? And it's interesting because I've always thought of like what happens with people who lose their memory, or who, in this case, she purposely tried to sever the ties of her memories of when she was being bullied and having these death threats on social media. Like, I've always wondered, like, how do you wake up? Like, it's very interesting because she can still speak, Japanese, but it's not her. And it's not the person that these people knew, from before this event happened. And so she has no memory, and she's trying to adjust to being, I guess, aware of herself. And in the episode, you see how much Sakuta really loves his sister. Again, we gave him crap for being a siscon, but there's this scene where he does talk about, he's like, the way that she talks is different, the way she uses her chopsticks are different, the way she puts on her pajamas, like which button she buttons up first, is different, the way that she walks is so different. And you kind of hear this like cry of uncertainty, of not wanting, don't know what to do type of cry, like in the way that he's speaking and when he's saying this. And it gets to the point that it's so, well, actually, sorry, let me backtrack before this. Then one of the interesting things is and I don't know exactly what triggers it, but one day he comes home and she greets him, but not with the Oni-chan thing, but just greets him, and then she starts having these bruises, and he goes and tries to tell his mom about this, and she is gone. Like, she is not there anymore, because he's like, she has bruises on her body, and she's like, oh, it's like, it'll be okay, Kaede, it'll be Kaede. Like, she like completely broke down, like doesn't want to accept the fact of what happened to her daughter, which is what makes her leave and be hospitalized and have her husband take care of him. And this also affects Sakuta, and where we saw the scars that happened to him due to his, I want to say, the stress of everything that's going on and not knowing how to help his sister. And then they tie into, he was in the hospital for that reason. No one believed about that those happened just out of nowhere, and that it wasn't self-inflicted, and to the point where he is still in the hospital, but he escapes to go to the beach, and that's where he finds Shoko, and where he starts to have these conversations with her, and to the point where he one day he asked her, like, why do you believe me? Like, and no one believes me, doctors don't believe me. And she's just starts talking about how, like, she wants to be kinder every day, as kinder than she was the day before, and that she like wants to understand the way people are. And a light bulb goes on Sakuta's head. It's like, we've been doing it all wrong with Kaede, because the whole thing that's been happening is that we've been treating her as, this person is not Kaede, this person is something or someone different, and we're trying to get the old Kaede back. And the words that she said to him, he's like, can I follow your way of thinking for the rest of my life? And she says, yeah, of course. And he does this really like small little thing, but is a huge change in Kaede. And it also like explains why she always speaks in the third person. But basically, he hands her a journal that says to write down the stuff, And he says, don't write. And she says, do you know how to write your name? She said, yeah, I know the kanji for it. And he says, don't write it that way. Write it in hiragana. He said, because you're like Kaede, and but you're not. He's like, you're the current Kaede right now, saying that you're a separate person. Like, you might be different than the sister that I knew, but you're still Kaede. And it just hits home for her, and she opens up and says, like, I'm glad that you understand me, Oni-chan. And so I think that explains why she always keeps referring to herself in the third person, because she's differentiating herself from the Kaede that was before her. So those explanations are fine. The only thing that I'm trying to understand is, like, the cuts and the bruises are two different things. Because if we saw before, she was having these cuts that started to appear on her body when she was still being bullied. But now we have the bruises that are coming back, which I don't know if it's the stress of, and it might be the stress of her consciousness, like thinking about turning back to the old Kaede, and that's what's causing the bruising. But I'm not sure if that's also the same reason why the cuts happened before that. So I'm not too certain on that. They weren't very explicit on explaining that. But I guess just anytime there's some sort of stress that gets past a certain level, there is physical harm due to the adolescent syndrome. That's what I'm assuming here. And it, like I said, it was a very intense episode, because you see all this happening of the backstory, and then the whole arc of her the whole time of her trying to go to school, and also causing these bruises to come over her, and having Sakuta also, try to relieve that stress by taking her to the zoo and then taking her to the school. Like, you think it's all going to end happy, because she's like, I want to use this pass that Oni-chan gave me for the year to use as much as I can so it doesn't go to waste. She wants to go to school. Like, she's excited to start all of this, and then at the very end, that's gone. She's now her other self, which you can hear. Her voice is different now. It's not as like high pitched and not as like bubbly. And Sakuta is just in shock. I don't know if he's distraught, but I know he's in shock. And I think it's a very interesting, I don't know how it's going to end. It's going to be a very interesting end, because it's not that it's bad that she gained her memories back, but she's also lost all the memories that she has made with Sakuta, with Mai, with all this progress. And so I think he's kind of conflicted, because I think he liked both Kaedes. And we were never told if with Futaba, if when the other Futaba disappeared, if she like merged, I guess, with the other Futaba, or if she just disappeared completely. Meaning, like, if their memories got shared together, because I mean they share memories, but then when they split, they have different memories, and they don't go to one another. So I'm assuming that when the Futaba disappeared, that the other Futaba, the one that's here now, doesn't have any memories of what happened when she was, staying at Sakuta's house and having those conversations with him. That's what I'm assuming. Because that's what it looks like what they're doing. So now the whole question is, like, the dilemma is, what are they going to do now? Do they want to bring back the other Kaede, or do they want to find some way to join the experiences that both Kaedes had, or to bring both of them together? Like, it's going to be very interesting. I don't know how it's going to end. All I know is that in the preview, it shows her in the bed, in a hospital bed, and that's it. And it says, like, the dawn of a restless or sleepless night. I can't remember the actual title. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I know I've said that like a few times, but it's gonna be. I just can't wait to see how they resolve it. But yeah, I give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. Like, I've said that for all these episodes, but I mean, I haven't had any upsets or anything that I thought was really dumb for most of the episodes. This one, I will say, I'm trying to understand more of the physical harm and the repercussions of what happened exactly with Kaede, because I guess another thing to bring aside from the physical injuries is the fact that this Kaede, the one that we've been seeing so far, that she is afraid of phones. She's afraid of going outside, but I don't know if she even actually understands why. That's the whole thing. Like, if she severed her memory from all the stuff that happened with her, with even her friends, like with Kotomi, Okano Kotomi, like she doesn't remember her. If she severed all that, why does she still have this fear? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You would think that because it's a new person, like, in quotation marks, a new Kaede, that she wouldn't have those fears, but she does have them. And so I'm wondering how, if it's just something lingering, like the body still has responses to it, even though the memory is different now. Maybe the body just reacts to it, and that's why she gets all tensed up and doesn't really understand all of what entails with having this fear of phones and going outside. I hope they explain that a little bit more. It might not be, maybe I'm thinking about it too much, but a little bit more explanation would be nice. So, but let me know what you think. This is episode 12, so the next week's going to be the finale. And then we have the movie, which I think is going to finish the Shoko arc, or give us her arc, and then finish the story. I think the light novels are still going on. So I don't know where they are right now, or where they're going to go after Shoko, because I feel like after that, all of the people that are around him, or the girls around him, are... that's it, except for maybe his best friend's girlfriend. That might be a separate arc in one way or another, but yeah, let me know what you think. This is David the Smash Fan from Chibi no Podcast, and I'm out.